Let's get to the Steelers' use of it in Week 13. And look, this is just brilliant. I'm a Ravens fan. Just the way that they manipulated the defense in this win, and I'm going to make this a standalone portion, to be honest with you. So I'm going to make this portion of it a standalone video. It's an interesting sequence of plays. I hope I can present it to you in a way that you enjoy, no matter who your favorite team is, for real. The Steelers, I think, went twin wing 10 or 11 times in that game because the Ravens just had trouble staying disciplined against the jet motion. The sheer alignment pre-snap of the formation being 2-by-2 stretches the defense horizontally. I'm talking about the distance from the outer number one receiver to the offense's left and the outer number one receiver to the offense's right. You've got some horizontal stretch just created by the width of the formation. I would say that it's a pseudo or hybrid spread formation because you have two receivers detached. So you've created somewhat of a spread look to one side, and then you have a very compressed look to the other. I think that's what really makes this formation interesting to me and has always made me respect it when we faced it defensively. The horizontal gaps are then expanded by the jet motion, and the Steelers' use of complementary plays over the course of 4 quarters really told me that they're not using it just as just to run a couple of plays. It is systemic, meaning they've got the jet sweep to either side. They've got the split zone to either side, which would be a handoff to the running back. And then they've got a great variation that you'll see, I think, on the final play when the Ravens think they have an idea how to defend it from their base look, from their 3-4 personnel. All right, so let's get into it. This is going to be, the second one's going to be a jet sweep strong, so it's into the boundary with the running back threatening away from the boundary. It's 21 personnel. So when I say running back, you've got Jaylen Warren lined up to the top side as a potential receiver, as a wide receiver, as a slot receiver. Najee Harris, their starting tailback, their number one tailback, is lined up at tailback. He's going to go opposite the jet motion. So you're getting this natural conflict in the defense immediately with the two running backs going in what I would call split flow. Let it run a couple of times so you guys can see it. The Ravens appear to have numbers down here to the bottom side, but between Bowser, Hamilton, and Marlon Humphrey, nobody's sure who's supposed to be on the outside leverage. I did not think the Ravens' edge players, their outside linebackers, did a great job against this jet sweep motion. You'll see 2 examples of it again later on. Great job by the Steelers of utilizing Jaylen Warren. I mean, he's running hard, and he damn near takes this thing to the house. End zone angle, same play. You'll see that the Ravens have numbers over here to defend it, and then a 4th player, who I think is Chuck Clark. So numbers-wise, when the ball was handed off, you've got 2 lead blockers, which I think is a tight end and a receiver. I might be wrong about number 89. Maybe he's another tight end, but he looks receiver size to me. He did a nice job in this game, especially with the blocking. You see an example of there against Marlon Humphrey. 21 personnel, twin wing, creating some indecision in the Ravens' defense. Don't really like the alignment that the Ravens are offering. They've really only got 1 inside linebacker on the field. In this case, it's Roquan Smith. I'm not sure why Patrick Queen was off on the play, but I've shown it to you enough. Cool play, jet sweep. A lot of teams use it, middle school, high school, youth football level. I know that some Steelers fans, which is a pretty educated group, had some criticism of the jet sweep usage in 2021 or the jet motion. At least in week 13, 2022, it was a great effect. All right, inside zone off the same motion with the same personnel, I think, 21 personnel. So they're making it look like jet sweep to the top side of the field. Everything looks exactly the same. You got the motion. The timing of it normally is going to be slightly different. You can see that when the ball was handed off to Warren on the previous play I showed you, the ball would have been snapped by now. So it's snapped slightly later. It has to be to allow Warren to clear and get out of the way of the quarterback who's opening to the flow. So he's opening to the side where Najee Harris is running. It's a great job by him. I think I'll show you the end zone angle here. You're going to really poor job here by the defensive tackle for the Ravens and a nice job by the offensive line for the Steelers. Basically, 96 gets scooped and doesn't touch the guard at all. Guard gets a free release up to Roquan Smith. I mean, there's really nothing you can do as an inside linebacker unless you just hit it downhill right now. But really poor job by 96 getting scooped. A scoop block means his helmet is here. I'll use this helmet as a landmark. Some people talk about feet and whatever. The tackle's helmet is here. The flow of the play is working to our left. The defense is left, offense is right. Watch this tackle get and scoop or cut off 96. So basically 96 is going to end up on the back side, the top side of it, the wrong side in my opinion. Running back has a two-way go now. 96, who was lined up in the B gap, is now outside the C gap, been scooped. Running back's got a two-way go. Patrick Queen's a free hitter. It wouldn't have mattered. Najee Harris would have still been running for a pretty solid game. Maybe not as substantial a gain, but you get the point. All right, split zone strong with a reverse pivot. I love this. The Ravens are trying to wrong arm it now, so they're taking JPP, who's the outside linebacker, to the top side of the screen. Here, he's going to wrong arm it. Quarterback is going to reverse pivot out of here. Line's not perfectly drawn, but it's done for emphasis. Running back's going to, bring it back underneath, and when JPP wrong arms it and running back bounces it, there's no one out there to play the bounce. There's no inside linebacker, gap exchanging it. There's no safety coming down immediately. Roquan Smith is there, but it still ends up being, I think, an 8 or 9 yard gain. Awesome concept. The Steelers did a great job of adjusting. Whenever the Ravens wrong armed, it looked like the Steelers were either A, prepared for it, or B, the H-back tight end, whoever, whatever position you want to call him, was prepared for it or trained for it in practice so that he knew to log it. Now, you don't really get an excellent log here. A log would be, running around the block to get outside, which you will see an example of that here in a moment. So I don't think this is a in the huddle adjustment by the Steelers. I think this is just JPP wrong arming it and no one for the Ravens being able to fit outside, gap exchange it, or safety spin down on the motion. Another jet sweep. This one's strong. Justin Houston for the Ravens does not demonstrate great eye discipline here. You will get the end zone angle of it. Justin Houston is up at the top side, and he had a great season for the Ravens. Obviously, I think highly of him. I've done like 4 videos on the dude. But very similar to the first play I showed you, I believe. You've got 2 lead blockers, the tight end, I think Freiermuth, and 89, who, again, I believe is a receiver. And then 30 on the jet sweep out here. It's a 3-on-3 with Patrick Queen being potentially the 4th guy. The Ravens really didn't have answers for this because I think the Steelers' use of it is systemic, meaning they have multiple plays to utilize out of the same formation. It's kind of like an if-then. If the Ravens do A, then the Steelers will respond with B. If the Ravens do C, then the Steelers will respond with D. Let's look at the end zone angle of this play so you can see what I'm talking about with Justin Houston. He's not responding to his key at all. His key should be the tight end, whatever he's looking at, the V, the feet, some people do the feet, the shoulder pad, the near hip, whatever. He's not getting any recognition that tight end is released outside. He's only looking for the football. One of those situations that's rare, if you ask me. Justin Houston, normally really reliable. You can see the alignment gap that the Ravens have in terms of a problem here between Madubuike and Houston. And then the jet sweep, essentially Houston has reached himself by not responding to the key, and you end up with numbers out here 3-on-2 with Queen being should be the 4th, and Houston, I would say, gets a 0 on this play, even though he's a fantastic football player with a Hall of Fame resume. But that's what this formation can do when your use of it is systemic, when you have counters built in. All right, so I think you got 2 more plays here. And these are really to illustrate, and again, you're seeing all run plays here, right? These are to illustrate how multiple the Steelers can be out of the formation. Now 89 is the jet sweep guy. Watch what Brent Urban does. I think you get a nice job by an interior tackle here for the Ravens as well. I think it's 91 right here, does a nice job. But watch Brent Urban come down violently and basically get involved in the play. This H-back, leaves him alone, doesn't touch him, doesn't kick him out like he did JPP when JPP tried to wrong arm. And Urban and that D tackle end up being the first 2 guys to make contact, hold him to a minimal gain. Watch the Steelers adjustment. This is later on. Ravens in the same look. You got your 3-4 look, an outside linebacker, Houston, an outside linebacker who's apexed out like a will linebacker, basically out of the 4-3. That's how versatile Tyus Bowser is. Same motion, 89 in motion. Same play look. Brent Urban's going to respond in the same manner, but watch what the Steelers have the H-back do now as an adjustment. He just leaves Brent Urban, loops outside, goes and gets Tyus Bowser, gets involved there. It only ends up being like a 5 or 6 yard gain. I'm going to be honest with you then, if the Steelers fans have listened this long, like, don't take offense to it. This wasn't a super talented offense with some of the position players that were on the field. But the way that the coaches and the players manipulated the Ravens defense out of the twin wing formation, I thought was expert. I talked about the reverse pivot earlier. Watch the quarterback reverse pivot, and then great ball fake, running back counter step, like it's going to be the zone to the strong side, and then bring it out here, bounce it outside of, what I would call the log block by the H-back, but, different people have different names for it. Reverse pivot by the quarterback makes it look like it's going to be the zone play. You see reaction by the Ravens players to this side. Even Tyus Bowser, who's normally very disciplined, gets sucked inside. H-back loops around. Great job. Great design. The twin wing formation, the Steelers' use of it, I would say is somewhat unique. It's not the same as the Eagles' usage of it. It's not the same as the Bears' usage of it. I think it was very systemic, and I've said that now 3 times, meaning this is an element of the Steelers offense that they're just going to do. And if it works early, then great. If they see something on film that they expect to work, then they'll do so. My look at the twin wing formation may not have been as in-depth as I intended it to be. I want to be able to look at formations across the NFL and show you guys some film of how teams use the formation. I've shown you a lot of plays from the Eagles, a whole sequence of plays from the Steelers, some plays from the Bears, I think one from the Falcons. Guys, let me know what you think of looking at formations and how offenses attack formations. I did show you a lot of run plays. I think the 2x2 nature of it being spread to one side, the twins, and then condensed to the other, the wing, offers a lot more balance than I've probably shown in this video. There was a lot of pass plays that I could have shown. If you want to see a part 2 of it, or if you want to see other formations that NFL teams use, please let me know in the comment section. Give me some feedback, and I can produce more videos like this in the future.